Today, me and Eric, for episode 3, we did something a little different. We went to go talk to one of the best stand up paddle guys that we know. He's been mentioned a bunch of times in the other episodes, so definitely go check those out. But we talked to Dave Bainey. He's not actually on the episode, but we have some stuff planned for the future. And we did get to talk to him for about an hour or so. We talked before we got to see him, and we talked about after. So just take a listen and indulge.
We're going on a road trip though today. We're not in our normal setting.
But yeah, we're driving up to Dana Point to go to Infinity to go check out some of the boards that he's releasing for 2025. I think he's got proof boards and maybe a prototype. I don't know if he has the Beeline twin fin proof board or if it's just a prototype. But
Right.
yeah, we're going to go check it out. Probably take some video footage of maybe some bottom contours. Talk to Dave a little bit about, some inspiration behind the boards. It's kind of obvious inspiration behind. So he has the Escape Pod. He's releasing a smaller version. I think it's a 610 by 26 and a half, maybe. Right around 85 liters. We're going to look up to get the exact specs, but I think it's 85 liters. And then the inspiration behind that is people wanted a smaller board. So it's the same board, scaled down for those that want a smaller ride. And then the Blur V3, which, in manufacturing, as a manufacturer, you always want to stay up to date. And so the Blur V2 had been in the lineup for a while, so he was making all his team riders customs.
Yeah.
And those customs it's like, okay, our team riders have been riding this new version for a while. Obviously,
I think
that's your R&D.
Yeah,
right?
everybody was on a V2 at one, 2 years ago. I think, Vanya, all their team riders I saw were all on V2s.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't ride with that big step deck.
Yeah, it's like a custom V2. I don't know what.
Yeah, and so I think it was just a matter of time. It's like, hey, we've been testing this for a while. The new team riders seem to be really liking it. Let's do some prototypes for maybe some non-full-on pros.
Right.
And see how that goes over. And boom, you got the V3 coming out. Now I know the proof board is a 7.8 by 26 at 90 liters. Which, that's right up my kind of alley. A little narrower than I ride on a day-to-day. But that 90 liter mark is very popular for the general public. But I did notice that he slimmed it down because the production board is now 7.8 by 26 inches, but it's coming in at 80 liters. So it's going to be a little bit different thickness,
right,
and volume distribution than the board we're looking at.
Yeah,
so
it'll be good just to get it in hand. Whatever he has, even if it's a smaller shape than maybe even what you want to order or whatever, it's just
the bottom
just to
contour
see,
is the same.
To see the lines and see kind of the idea. Because even when I see him post something, literally the next day I'm like, hey, can I come check that out? Because I drive past here a lot, and he's like, oh, it's sold already. Those discount deal, and I'm like, damn it! Literally as soon as it goes up, it's like the speed freaks grab it. Somebody's on it.
Yeah, and what I did notice too, though, in the next size up, I think it's a 710 or 711.
Yeah.
It's being offered in 2 width options, which I think is genius because that 711 size is a little bit more user friendly.
Yeah.
And then he's got a 27 width option and a 28 width option. So that's where you're landing in that 90 liters and 100 liters. So that's for your kind of everyday, the majority of the paddleboard surfers that are riding small boards, but usually are wanting more volume.
Yeah. I kind of it kind of makes me think it's like a high performance Joe board. It's not really a pro rider, but it's something that the weekend warrior is going to go out and it's a high quality shape.
Yeah. And for staying in true fashion for Infinity,
Yeah.
it goes in line because I've always ridden like that 7.6 ish range,
Mm-hmm.
27 inch wide ish boards, and in that 90 liter volume range. Which for me, if I was to go infinity in my usual sizes, I would have to go up in length just to fit into the volume that I want.
Right.
And so when he released the 7.8 or sorry 7.8 90 liters, I was like, whoa, that's kind of not normal for his volume distribution.
Right.
Fits more in what I ride, but switched it back to the typical Infinity, thinner boards, higher performance. If you want certain volume, size up a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking at switching to an Infinity board to really try them out, and I've already got behind the I'm going to go a little bit longer than what I normally ride,
Right.
maybe a little bit wider than what I normally ride to get that volume that's comfortable for me.
Okay, going.
All right, so we kind of figured out, okay, well, maybe talk to Dave a little bit about inspiration behind the other, the Escape Pod and the V3, but they're kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
The main thing I wanted to talk to him about, which has sparked my interest the most, is the new Beeline. Like, what was his inspiration? I know him and Burnt Road Digger talk about, they both love twin fins and stuff, but changing the Beeline into a performance twin fin with like a trailer option, that sparked my interest the most. So I really want to see what he's changed from the original Beeline to
now to like
the twin fin. Like, what did you have to do to make it work better as a twin fin?
Yeah, because you can't. Oh, and it's flat.
So we're driving past Doheny.
It is dead flat.
4 guys in the water, and
there was maybe a ripple, but yeah, I think sometimes people when they switch a design, they're just throwing right here. Yeah, right here. They're just throwing like a twin fin in, and they're not changing any like bottom contours or like anything that leads the water to the twin fin
or the twin fin, the fin placements.
Yeah, or the fin.
What makes a twin fin twin fin in my mind.
And just having a quad setup and then just putting 2 big ass fins in your quad setup doesn't necessarily make it a twin, like surfing board. Like people would just think like, oh well, it's 2 fins, so it's twin.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of design things that go into it that people are not getting.
Yeah, and that's how I started surfing twin fins. It does work, but it's not
as fine tuned as what you're getting now with a SMIC dedicated to it, or now an Infinity.
This is designed as a twin fin.
Yeah.
Your boxes tend to be set back a little further so that's not crazy loose, because if you're just running a board that's, has a 5 fin box option, like the Quattro Carve I was riding for a long time. I got a set of twin fins with a trailer, threw it in there, and I loved the way it rode. But without the trailer, those front fins are so far forward that it's too loose. So you have to have the stabilizer in there to calm it down a little bit. But a board that's designed as a twin fin, those front fin boxes tend to be further back so that it is a balance between the looseness and some hold, right?
Yeah, because all that playing with it and adjusting and learning and all that is good, so you can kind of know what you need. But when Dave or someone makes it like just a twin fin, it's like, oh, I'd rather just get on that and see, because they've done the R&D and it's a little more user friendly.
We're gonna pull into a Doheny just for shits and giggles,
just
see, to check it out. Maybe we still go for a paddle. Who knows? We'll see. We'll just hit pause here for a second. Cool meeting up with Dave. He's super down to earth, always down to chat boards, and yeah, being able to see the new stuff in person was well worth it. I don't know what you thought, but
I think that was the biggest thing, was just getting your hands on stuff. And I speak highly of the wide speed, but then seeing like an 11-foot wide speed, a 10-6, like seeing the range of it, that was cool. and then even just seeing some of the new, like the beeline and talking like all these different little aspects, the jet tail, the diamond squash tail, all this stuff is that's where I geek out. I like hearing that stuff.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, seeing that beeline twin fin in person, it was quite a bit different than I thought it was going to be because it's hard to tell from the images they uploaded. I was expecting the original beeline with some lowered rocker, the channel on the bottom, and new fin box placements, but overall very much more similar. It's going to have the jet tail, just like the original beeline. The template is very similar with, again, lowered rocker, just to increase some speed. And then they got rid of the channel in between the fins. So I was not expecting that. It looks really cool. It's got like a double concave with like, is it called like a rolled V?
Yeah.
In the middle, so it will roll rail to rail super easy. I think making it a twin fin versus a thruster or a quad with that channel, more so as a thruster, they don't need the channel because as a twin fin, you're getting the speed from the twin.
You're getting the attributes of having that channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still super excited. I think I'll probably try to get one when they get released in May.
Yeah.
It looks like a fun board.
And that's why I think it's so important to have a place like Infinity to go to, and just even like I'm pretty like I mean he knows that I'm not going to go in there and buy anything, but he's still like telling me everything about the board, like breaking down all the specs and what it's good for, and answering all my questions. And it's like it's customer service, and I'm not even gonna go buy anything. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like sharing Stoke and the knowledge that he has is so sick.
It's cool going into that type of a shop. They're a manufacturer. They make their own boards. They have their own store.
They do things in-house.
And then just what they're able to do in-house it's very impressive. And then, Dave being a paddleboard surfer.
Yeah.
Like what he says, he's like, I want to make what I want to ride. And so they're into doing some innovative stuff and like trying new things. And, it'd be funny to see how many boards or how many different ideas he's tried that didn't work.
Yeah.
Just because he's just down to try.
And then, and even if they end up getting chopped, I mean, I know for a fact he's said like, oh yeah, I made this tombstone, but the nose wasn't right. And then so, it's just that trial and error that he has the ability to do. It just makes everything so much better. And then he has a clear plan of like keeping everything kind of premium, or like just at premium level, so you're not compromising or doing like a budget line as well as a soft top line as well. Like, it's just very like the fat has been trimmed where it needs to be, and it's like these are our shapes. This is what we do. You don't like it? You can get something else.
Yeah, there's other companies that make that price point board.
Yeah.
They're just kind of they have a lane.
Mm-hmm.
They're staying in that lane, and it seems to be really working for them.
Yeah, it's cool to see that. He even makes jokes about it, like, "Oh, SUP surfing's not dead." Like
yeah.
He's kind of keeping it for this area, keeping it alive. It wasn't like we just saw randomly this guy was just speaking the high praises of the wide speed and how he wanted to get the new beeline, and people are just like so tuned into what Infinity drops and what they're working on. So
yeah, I mean, they're just a staple of the community in Dana Point too.
Yeah.
So people know the brand, they know the lines.
Yeah.
And paddleboarders, if they've been riding in Infinity for a while, they've got their finger on the pulse at Infinity. So it's one of those brands that people tend to get, and then they stick with the brand. People that go Infinity don't tend to bounce around with other brands that often.
Right.
They kind of stick with
because the boards are good. They cover a lot of ground as far as like what you need, and they're not really like, they don't really have any weak points really that I can even point out. I don't know, like every board fits pretty well, and they seem, the community is so strong. You can just, hey, I got an 8.6, but I really need a 7.11, and someone is either willing to swap, or it goes up on the post and it's gone in a day.
Yeah.
Like they hold their value. So it's like that built-in little Infinity community is the secondary market is like it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a worldwide community. Like you could probably travel to another country and pretty easily find an Infinity to like pick up for a rental for the week, or you know, find somebody that maybe has a couple of them and it'd be like, yeah, come on in, you can borrow my spare board, and then they take you to a couple spots to take you surfing. So
and then with him like sponsoring all these events, like when I went to North Carolina, I ended up using an Infinity because that's like everybody's riding them. They're at the local little shop there. He brings in his team riders. Like it just becomes like a whole Infinity event.
Yeah, they've got that cult following for sure.
Yeah, so and it's like in the niceness, the generosity around the people, the crew is pretty cool because I've been around other like stand-up crews or other brands, and I don't think I've met a fan base as chill as this.
Yeah,
and I've now seen it in multiple states. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to be a part of. What were you riding when we were surfing just now?
34 wide all-arounder.
The Terry Chung shape.
Terry Chung shape as a quad, and that is, I don't know. I say it's the closest thing to like a Whopper, but it's just got more agility in it.
Yeah, it's got the thinned out squash tail.
Yeah, so I can turn it really well. Like if it's big to small, that thing is pretty classic. It's just easy.
Yeah, I was on the wide speed, but a much bigger board than I normally ride. Not lengthwise. I think it's 710 or 711, but I normally ride like a 27-inch wide, maybe 90-liter board. This thing was 30 inches wide, and I think it's like 115, 113 liters.
And it just doesn't even look that big. Even when you're holding it, when I'm looking at you, I could still picture in my head like, oh, it's probably like a 28.
Dude, it was effortless. Like, I mean, I think I paddled. Waves were knee high.
Yeah.
And I had to paddle like 3 times to catch a wave.
And then on your way back out, you were like paddling on one knee, and the board was still just like the water line was so perfect.
Well, that was my drop knee pivot, my pivot turn when I'm on the inside.
Yeah.
That way I can kneel down and I get this huge sweep stroke to turn it around really fast.
Flip it right around.
Then I go back up to my feet and to paddle out.
Well, and the other cool thing to hear, Dave mentioned that like the New Deal, the longboard stand-up is still like a bestseller.
Yeah, that thing is. It's the one board do it all.
Yeah, it's still got some speed, and then.
But he did show us a new
longboard. I don't know if they're going to call it
working on.
Yeah, the newest deal or whatever.
The newer deal.
The newer deal. The better deal. I don't know.
I wouldn't call it the better deal. It's a different deal.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was saying.
We're spitballing names for you, Dave. So it was really cool. It had a squash tail. Mm-hmm. It had a fuller nose, and the nose rocker was much lower, more designed to be a more user-friendly nose rider.
Yeah, like it had a classic, like it's going to look like a longboard that you'd see just like Dana Point.
Or a Doheny?
Yeah, Doheny. Just a regular Doho board. Yeah,
and he had a couple of them in there, customs, with these really sweet like ghost flames on them. It was pretty cool. I don't know that they will do that production wise, but that color scheme with the blue with the ghost waves looked awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get any pictures when we were there?
I got some. I got some photos. Got some video. So
we'll put up some stuff on the Instagram page so you can kind of see some of the stuff we were looking at.
Yeah, we'll get some clips. But again, it's like that variety that he has to whatever he has in his brain, and he takes feedback. So he's like, yeah, everyone's asking for like a nose rider, and the New Deal, I get it. The New Deal takes a lot because of the way it's shaped to nose ride, but I don't see too many guys nose riding anyways. Long stand-ups. Like
it's coming back. I mean, they have the longboard competitions now, and I do see people walking the boards and kind of nose riding a little bit. But yeah, I've ridden the New Deal, and I did find it kind of difficult to get up on the nose because the noses are so thin that if you're not on a wave that has that kind of push and that the speed to kind of get that nose planing to kind of support you, I could see it being more difficult. I personally, I'm not a really good nose rider, so I found it difficult. But that new one really looked fun.
Yeah.
So, he's talking about maybe possibly sneaking it into production, maybe the end of 2025.
Yeah, it was gonna be like a holiday release kind of thing.
Yeah, so maybe something new to come out for some Christmas shopping. Maybe put it on your list now.
Yeah, I definitely want to try it. Like it's like if he has something in that range, like a 10-0 or whatever. He had a couple. It'd be cool to just to float it.
Yeah, I'm in the market for a longboard style.
Yeah, and then to see that he had the Coastal Cruiser. It was basically a wide speed,
but narrow.
Yeah, like a wide speed bottom. It had the double concave, and he brought everything in
with the chined rails.
The chined rails, and it was just sick. It was a little bigger than I thought. Which I like.
It was 11 foot.
Yeah, 11 foot, and it was thick. I think it was 4.5 thick.
Well, how wide was it? It was like
29.
It was 29. Okay, yeah. I was thinking 28, but
still 29 for that big of a board is like that's kind of my jam.
And that's like a good you could do anything with that board. So
that's something I'm gonna take and just like have with me constantly because I'm gonna ride 1 foot waves. I'm gonna go ride a little bit bigger. I'm gonna go cruise the Baby Beach or
Mission Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, San Diego Bay, Mission Bay.
Put my little kid on the front.
Kid on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see having one of those for the little Baja trips.
Yeah, the utility knife board.
Yeah, that board with a long board and then my twin fin. That's my stand-up quiver.
Yeah.
That would be a good little bit of everything. No matter what the conditions you get, you'll have something.
And that's what I'm doing now is like clearing out everything that was just like something that I just tried and got for cheap or whatever. I just need to like get rid of it, the energy, all those boards, and just keep it to like 3. Like you said, like that's It just seems kind of like the perfect number there.
3 stand-ups, because that Coastal Cruiser,
different. Yeah,
that Coastal Cruiser is a good family board too. So like my wife doesn't surf.
Yeah.
But she wants to go. She likes the paddleboard.
Yep.
And we'll go as a family. She doesn't need a super wide board. I mean, if I put her on something that's wide, she doesn't even know the difference. But 29, she's fine on a 29-inch wide board.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking too. Like my girlfriend does not do anything in the water, but she'll go and sit. We go to Hawaii or even here. She can sit on a board and kind of cruise around, and that's perfect. 29 and having that little thickness for the flotation is cool.
We might get some good footage Thursday that we can maybe put up. We're gonna meet up with Dave and
Burn
Road Digger and do some surfing and maybe get some footage. Hopefully, maybe get to try out some of the new 2025 stuff, depending on the waves. We'll get back at you guys. We don't. This may drop after we do that.
Yeah. Well, let's try. I'll make sure to drop this, and then we can, get it done tonight. Maybe
fine tune the other one.
Fine tune the other because that other one has no timestamp. I guess. Okay. There's no.
Yeah.
We can throw it up after, but we have some episodes. We're saved up now.
We're working through this, guys. Guys and girls, well, bear with us.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd be cool too because I've surfed with Burn a couple times, but since then he's gotten to do the pipeline backdoor shootout. Like he's like one of the only 4 stand-up guys invited. He windsurfs. He does all this dope surfing. So like, just being around those kind of guys gets me more excited. And like, even on my big boards, I try to kind of like follow the line that he takes and watch how he gets in the surf.
Watch how he surfs too, and look closely at his feet and where his foot is, or where his leash is attached. That guy can ride. You can't even tell whether he's riding regular or switch.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if he's a regular footer or a goofy footer. I think he's a goofy footer.
But he surfs so well.
He surfs better than anybody that I know. Switch foot.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. These windsurfers are so good at switching their feet. He's the only one that's really doing it.
He really utilizes
while he's regular surfing.
Yeah. And in like contests and in like, where he's trying to. Normally you try to put your best foot forward and just like get good video clips, but he's just like such a good free surfer. He's just always, his flow is incredible.
How do they judge that in a competition? If you ride switch,
right?
Do you get extra points
because you're riding? Yeah, I want to say no, maybe because they'll probably just judge you on like
on the wave,
power, flow, and what did you do on the wave. But like that's gonna make me a little more. If I'm judging that and seeing him drop in on a wave, and it's like, oh dang, he's going backside, and then boom, he switches stance. Oh
Yeah.
no! And if he can pull off a couple turns, the level of difficulty for those couple of turns, it's good. It's got to earn you more. Like if you're doing
like an extra half point for going switch,
and then 2 big hacks. Those 2 hacks are going to get a 0.5 better because it was not your strong side
for each hack.
Yeah,
right?
each hack. At least.
That's what I would do if I was judging. That sounds pretty legit.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have if you have a problem with it, then learn to go switch. Get more because that's to me you're using the whole wave now. You're going both directions, and successfully turning and yeah.
I feel like there was in one of the pipeline competitions, somebody dropped into pipe, starts getting barreled, and then he comes out of the barrel with his feet the opposite. Like he's switched feet while getting barreled, and it came out.
I think
I feel like that's happened.
Yeah, I want to say it was like Kelly, but I don't think it was Kelly. So
I don't know.
I definitely know what you're talking about, but yeah, I mean, just to even surf with Burn, just because, like I said, like even people don't stand up paddleboard at pipe anymore, so having somebody that good that's gonna be cool to surf with, and even just pick his brain. I'm always trying to steal stuff from people, so
yeah, maybe get some pointers. I feel like I've been kind of looking at regular surfboards and looking at Twinsers, and I feel like that I would love to try a Twinser, and nobody's making a Twinser stand up yet.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of cool, like maybe 2026, to see like a little Twinser stand up. Just keep going with that twin fin.
Yeah, it's like a twin fin progression. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and I think that if the beeline is successful in all these different variations of a twin fin, then I think that's the next step is to go into that Twinser style.
Yeah, and I feel like there's only maybe
a
2 brands that I would really trust doing it, and Infinity is definitely one of them. Yeah, Smick as well. He does a Bonzer, a Bonzer stand up, which kind of gets the concept from the Bonzer to the Twinser.
Yeah,
it's a little different, but
I think they could. I'm pretty confident he could probably adjust and be a little more true to it, but.
Yeah, the Twinser comes from like a sailboat background. Somebody was explaining it to me, where that little outside fin, I forget what it's called, but it acts as almost like the jib sail, where it's actually funneling the wind, or in this case with the water, funnels it to be more clean into the twin fin to really help generate that drive and hold.
That makes so much sense that you just said that.
Yeah, so you get the extra speed that you would get
that first
off a quad.
Yeah.
But you're not getting the holdup that a quad might get. You're getting
because it's breaking the surface with that. It's getting the water focused in, and it's just making it even more focused in, and then out the back that's where you get that speed from.
So yeah, I've been kind of diving into a little bit of the Twinser rabbit hole for surfboards, but there's not a lot of Firewire just came out with one, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's for a Twinser you got to go full custom.
Right.
So.
Well, that's where I think a lot of riders, they reach this limit where they've done everything with like production boards, or working with brands and stuff. So like maybe you make your own Twinser template and then take it to a brand. You take it to, I don't know, Paddle Surf Wire. You take it to whoever. Yeah. And then now you have your own. Because it's like even seeing like Kai Lenny or any of that, like that's like the high level of it. But like most guys, once you've like kind of exhausted everything that's on the market, you just kind of like, I'll just start making my own. Or and with the ability now to kind of like license and just like do the shapes, it's just like Paddle Surf Hawaii having a Terry Chung template.
Yeah.
This is something he developed a long ass time ago, and he just take little notes here, notes there. Okay, this is what I want. Boom.
And that's like back in the day, and they're getting back to it for surfboards.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what SurfTech does, right? They partner with the shapers to develop a board that they want in their lineup, and then Surf Tech being more of like a, in my mind, more of a tech company. So they're more of like the construction, like the materials.
The materials are like
you know?
the aerospace, the sandwich composite material, all
Yeah.
that stuff. And that's the cool thing, that you could go to a company like that and you know, whatever you call it.
They won't do customs for somebody small time, but
but
Infinity though, I mean, that's what they do. Because they're essentially a composites company now too.
Yeah.
Because they're dialing in their constructions for their production boards.
Yeah, and they're already doing collabs, and then, you know, he works with people that are just like his longtime friends, and doing these different board releases, and that is pretty cool. And then you might have like a paddle talk Twinser stand up or something, you know?
Yeah, that'd be
Whatever you want to call it, but
just let them run with it.
yeah.
Just help me. Let me
Sub consult.
let me grab one at a good price so that I can have one.
If you listen this far, please make sure you go subscribe and follow Paddle Talk Radio on all the platforms that you got. And we'll get another episode out soon. Aloha.